welcome to today's lessons on the causes of World War II. And here you can see the world being engulfed in flames. And we're going to talk about three overarching causes of World War II. So the first cause of World War II is actually going back to World War I, the Treaty of Versailles, and how the Great Britain and France, well, they want vengeance. All right. The issue here is that they believe Germany truly started the war with all the backgrounds, even though Serbia and Austria-Hungary were the initial starters of the war. The true backing of the war, many people felt, was Germany. Right. And now remember, Germany is seen as the losers. Many people in Germany do not feel that they lost the war. They just simply stopped fighting the war. World War II is actually there's going to be a depression in Germany, the Dawes Plan, and the American Great Depression. And you're like, well, those are three big things. And it's yes, because they're all tied together. And the first key we need to focus here on post-war Germany, the government is going to collapse. The Kaiser Wilhelm II is going to abdicate his position. Remember, Kaiser is just another word for Caesar. It's the German word for Caesar. The Russian word is Tsar. Maybe you're used to hearing that. And their economy goes into shambles, and really they need help because remember in mid-1920s, and so this plan is where the United States, right, they are going to loan money to Germany. All right. And this is to help their businesses. And as their businesses grow and create jobs and increase, and pay taxes, that would help pay the reparations. And then that money and materials would go to Britain and France, which would help them recover from World War I. But the problem is during World War I, Britain and France borrowed money from the United States. So they had these war loans that they had to repay. So this system began like US money goes to Germany. Germany builds their economy. The money shifted to Britain and France. Britain and France keep some of it, but it has to pay money to the United States. And it became a cycle, which is all well and good as long as the money keeps coming. October of 1929, the true depression really doesn't start until the 1930s, or the year 1930, all right? And then as that ripples and that money is dried up being sent from the United States to Germany, the German economy is going to go into turmoil. The British economy and the French economy will go into turmoil. And this is going to help lead to the depression in Europe, which will help lead to a worldwide depression. And with this worldwide depression, it's going to lead to cause number three. All right, so cause number one, the Treaty of Versailles. Cause number two, economic conditions with the German Depression, the Dawes Plan, and the American Great Depression. Cause number three, frustration, anger, and rebirth. All right, so we're going to focus in on Europe and we're going to focus in on Germany. Yes, there are the ideals of fascism. You have other countries like Italy and Japan coming out of World War I with political issues. How do we make our country great? How do we get us going again? And so here in Germany, you have a small political party. Yes, the Nazis were a political party. The one issue that we see is because we have the Republican and Democratic Party, you have two major parties and a number of smaller parties. In Europe, they have multiple parties, like 20, 30 political parties, and they have to work together and have coalitions to form governments. Okay. So in the 1920s, early in the 1920s, a young soldier was sent to spy on a group in Bavaria and report back to the government. Basically, what is this political party talking about? What are they saying? Well, in time, he joins them. He's going to rise to power and he will be legally elected. Right. And so, with this radicalism, some people are like, oh, he is hope because he's very charismatic. He's an excellent public speaker. So some people are like, he is hope. He is hope. And other people are like, he's hope. All right. Can he help bring the German nation around? All right. And here we see the rise of Adolf Hitler. And Hitler, you know, he plays the political game, but he does have an agenda with unique ideals in the background. We have to remember that this was a soldier who did not feel that Germany lost the war, and he was almost killed by mustard gas. All right. And so he spent many months in a hospital recovering from mustard gas. So there were times that, you know, people see him, well, he didn't die during the war. There's a time in which a British officer could have shot him. But, during World War One, he wasn't known as anybody, right? So it's how these little instances in history changed history. All right. If we think back to the Revolutionary War, George Washington had multiple bullet holes in his jackets or off his sword saber. Um, he could have been killed at different times, and the revolution would have been very different. Okay, so the Nazi Party is only going to be 10% of the population at its peak. All right, and there are about 80 million Germans at this time. Fear of the Nazi Party is going to control the majority of Germans during the 1930s because the average German has its own concerns. Fear, where's food coming? Do I have a job? All right. So, Hitler brought about this sense that he was creating jobs. Okay. Most of those jobs were military related. He was engaging the youth by having them, go to school and camps and improvement. But some of it's underlying military causes. He needs resources to build the economy. So he's looking to other countries. And some people see him as hope to bring Germany back from the ashes of World War One. Right? So his idea, and this is the thing, the people across the Eastern Hemisphere and Europe, they want to help their countries. Honestly, there are times, Hitler this is how I can help my country. You have the same thing in France, where a communist party is going to develop in France. You have Russia, you have the new communist party creating the Soviet Union. China, you're going to have a civil war. Japan's going to use militarism, but they're all looking at the government is trying to help improve their country. And so with that, the three causes of World War II, the failures of the Treaty of Versailles, economic depression, anger, frustration, and radicalism will lead to this global conflict. And over the next several weeks, we're going to examine these